You are a wonder. You're the wonder of my world. You are a wonder. Yo. You're a wonder. It's a bond as strong as Isis and Osiris. On the love boats, we pirates, still each other's hearts, we riders, and I like it. I can see the universe inside your iris. I get it. Future premonitions. Welcome, everyone. Out of all the fishes in the sea, I chose you, you chose me. If love is a drug, we OD. Yes, indeed. You are everything I need. Even when I don't be shit, you ain't never up and lead. It's no wonder just how wonderful you are. Being made of stars. What's your favorite car? I'ma get it for you. Cook a nice dinner for you. Massage. Welcome. This is the Queens versus Goddess chat. Searching, looking for the love to put the work in. Nefertiti standing on a purpose. As the rising coming to your surface. On the serpent, enchanted. Ancient love, lustily romantics. Center of his universe, no antics. I give him light, fouled up. Now he's giving me life. Birth and star seeds in between. Getting ready for the great awakening. Past lives feel like alkaline water. Everything here, I do it for my daughter. Dark horses running on the sunsets. On the descending the happiness, yeah, we bless. When they come for me, I come in even harder. When they die to me, no sleep to getting farther. Hi. And as we rise, the wind won't take us down. And as we climb, I'll see you at the top. And as we rise, the wind won't take us down. And what's up? What's up? 305 Capricorn, V-Tide Laces. Hope I said that right. Okay, y'all. You are a wonder. You're a wonder. You are a wonder. You're the wonder of my world. You are a wonder. You're a wonder. Okay, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know if you can hear me, if the microphone is coming in all right. If not, how about now? Okay. Welcome to the Queens versus Goddesses chat. You know what I'm going to have to do? Okay, perfect. You guys can hear me. Thank you. Okay, so this is a part 2 to the live that I did about a week ago. We're talking about Queens versus Goddesses. Now, there is a name that is called a pikmi chick. We're going to talk about that. And if you're vibing with me today, I just want to let you guys know that this is a channel of divine mother frequency. So we are speaking on a vibration that is not right embedded in the matrix. It is a decoding of the matrix, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, hold on. We're going to talk about relationships, and we're going to talk about this idea of the pick me chick and how it works in the decoding of being a queen versus a goddess, okay? So the idea here is that a goddess can be both queen and goddess, but a queen is separate from her goddess, which means that you fall into the queen and you have to do a certain amount of things in order to remember your goddess. But the thing is that it's not a certain amount of things. It's really just one thing if you can digest it. And so when we look at the idea of pick me chicks, right, we're going to decode it from a place of breaking down the word based off of syllables in the ancient forms and finding the meaning behind those syllables through ancient ideas and symbolism. Okay. Well, I think this is going to be cool because we get to talk about birds and the relationship to women and birds. Okay. Now, even in our everyday language, we already do this. We already connect women to birds. Um, Definitely check out my video where I talk about melanated women being connected to cats. Okay. So, if we are symbolized by cats, then how do birds fit in? Well, the birds fit in this concept of queens and goddesses. The bird is the phoenix that rises, okay, and brings you into goddesshood. You have to be able to kill a part of you to become a goddess. Halle Berry, that's right. Halle Berry in Catwoman, exactly. And the symbolism behind that, right? So birds are attached to the concept of the ka within the queen, okay? Because the Q, as we know it today, is connected to some of the most ancient forms of language. So it's a very ancient sound, the k or the ka, okay? This is connected to life form and the creation of life, okay? So let's look at the idea of side chicks. Well, let's look at the idea of chicks, period. Okay. So when we're looking at birds, birds are connected to phoenix, which is connected to your double within the ka. The ka is Egyptian body and spirit. Okay. Now the ba is the body. Okay. And the ka is the combining of the two. The ka is your shadow, your devil, your Lilith, your demon, anything that you understand to be the darker side of you. Okay. And so we work with our double energy when we are in the level of queendom. Okay. So where does the bird fit in? The bird is the rising and the merging of you and your double into goddesshood. Okay. And so, if you've ever heard of the word daemon, which is Daemon, this is a play off of the concept of you having a angelic or spirit animal that you're connected to. Okay, and for a lot of symbolism with women, birds are that daemon, Daemon. Okay. So birds are the spirit animal for melanated women. Okay. That's the idea in theory. And that's the program that we're working with today and understanding that. So, first is to understand that it is a program, but then there's also the fact that we already abide by the program to some degree. So, the question is why and what is the program? And how can you use the program for yourself with the understanding of this all? Now, if I sound crazy to you already, give me a thumbs up. That means I'm on the frequency of the Divine Mother. Okay. So, birds are your daemon. Okay. I think there is a book series that uses the diamond or the daemon, right? And there is a movie that is related to it. I'm sure you want me to tell you the title, but I can't remember the title. But that word has been used in media before. It is not foreign to media language, okay? And when you think of the word diamond, it's also in the word diamonds, in which I have a video on your demons and your diamonds. You should check that out as well, okay? So everything's connected, all right? So the bird, the phoenix, is like your companion, your spirit animal, okay? And there are baby birds, there are vultures, there are crows, you know, but there are chicks too. And chicks are a baby diamond, okay? They are pure and open. They're like purity from birth. for sale. Okay. So when you think of the word side chicks, or what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about pick me chicks. That's the phrase, pick me chicks. So these pick me chicks are the shadow of their birds. All right. So they are purity. They're actually the emptiness, the space, the hours connected to the queendom. They're baby queens or princesses. So a pick me chick is a princess. Okay. There is purity, there's still innocence in a pick me chick, and there is also curiosity, right? But there is no seasoning, there's no wisdom, there's no experience. And what is the experience with? The experience is with their daemon or their diamond or their demon. Okay. When a woman is connected to her diamonds, when a woman has diamonds, it's almost like a manifestation that she has merged with her demon, her inner demon. It is now fully open and available for her to use it as she pleases. She is a crowned queen. Okay, so a pick me chick is the beginning of that. It's the it's the seed, the budding of that. Okay. So when a pick me chick in spiritual frequency is coming at you, or if you are one, I was one, it's because you're not familiar with your sexual nature, your sexual prowess. You're not in any practice of it. You aren't knowledgeable of it. You may be completely pure or shut off. Okay. And so that is what a pick me chick is. And it's probably useful to know it if you are it or if you've been it before, that you embody the Karina, because the Kareen is the demon energy, but the Karina is the pure flower. Okay. It is the innocence of motherhood, it's the innocence of having children, it's the part of you that is the youthfulness that has made it into the demonic energy. So if you still embody a pick me chick energy, right, then you have preserved your pure flower. Now, this could be physically, but it doesn't have to be. You can definitely still have fornicated, had your way, and still embody the purity of the Karina, which is the pure flower, purity. Okay. And this is me exposing myself on how I've come to these theories, because I have been diving into the symbology and etymology of my name and came across the word queen and started to understand the Arabic origins of my name and how it brought me to understand my own inner dilemmas of being not confident in my queendom or accessing goddesshood. And so this is why I've created. And I know that it has to do with relationships and the concept of if you're a real full woman or not. But you tell me, if you guys know this term pick me chick, tell me what you think it is, or pick Misha. Okay. My attention span is not able to really embody all that it's about. But just breaking it down and understanding it from the symbols of the words to ancient symbolism, you can see that it's just a war between queens. It's a war of what is the right type of queen to be. Because there are all types of wars going on, not just that of the material world or the matrix world or the political world, but there's also a spiritual world of war that is happening. Okay.
There's one happening amongst the planets. We've got Jupiter and Pluto conjunct today and for the next 5 days exact. And you'll never see it like this in this sign of Capricorn ever again. So when you look at the astrology, you know, there is things going on. And when you look at the whole idea of being a queen versus being a goddess, you can see that even that would have conflict. There's political moralities between what a woman should be. And so when we look at the origins of the words, we can discover and uncover what it really means to be a woman, which is to be a witch. So phonetically, a witch is somebody who has a choice. So a witch is the person who chooses to be in her demonic energy or not. It's freedom. And that's why, you know, they burn witches because they were burning the symbol of your freedom. Okay. It's a very scary topic to some people, the idea of a witch, right? Because they're programmed to be scared of their own free choice. Okay. So this is not a discussion about what's good or bad. It's a discussion about being a slave to your programming or being free to choose whichever one you want. And similar to how it is to vote for the lesser of two evils, it can be that way when you're looking at being a queendom or a goddess as well. Because being a goddess is about understanding that you are every role that a woman is supposed to be in this matrix. Okay. So you are a mother, you are a daughter, you are a wife, or a girlfriend, or a queen, basically. Your mother, your daughter, or your queen. Okay. And in this realm of splitting those roles apart, you have to compartmentalize so that when you become a daughter, you are more like a pick me chick. You are expressing your innocence. When you're a queen, you are experiencing the lust of your body. And when you're a goddess, well, when you're a mother, before it gets a goddess, when you're a mother, you are experiencing the nourishment and love and care for something, right? So they're not necessarily completely synchronated on the queen level. And this is why you have queen wars, because some queens are going to say that I don't want a man to uh provide for no, I want a man to provide for me. That's one more. That a man should provide for me, right? But that is her relating to her father, because that's what a parent does. A parent provides for you, right? And then the other war is that, all women, women should be feminine and women should be able to love and nurture their men, like why can't I give him everything that he wants? Why can't I serve him? That's the other war. um my reaction to them both is if I choose to be both, then I become my bird. I rise into the phoenix, into a more god mind. And now I'm not fighting with myself and I'm not fighting with my sisters, because my sisters are me. So then you become into goddess mind, in which you are connected, interconnected with the feminine, versus fighting on how the material form of what feminine should be. Okay. So as a witch, you get to choose, do you want to stay as a queen or do you want to be a goddess? Okay, a goddess is different than a queen. Mainly, the difference is that she's not at war with herself, which means she's not at war with her sisters because she knows that they are just shadows of herself or reflections or mirrors of herself, which is the point that I wrote down today that I wanted to make about this idea of pick me chicks or these names that they can be turned around to be dope and fun to play with. But if they ever come into a place where they're belittling another woman, then they are clearly in a queen war. And it is the relationships and mastering yourself in relationships is goddess practice, right? That's why I think that people who learn astrology to understand each other are working on their goddesshood. They're rising into their phoenix level because astrology is the connector of a lot of belief systems. Hi, Whitney. Thank you so much for the DNA. Best of both worlds, balance my eye. Best of both worlds, balance my eye. Exactly. Right. So I find it hard to trust. Love is easy. When they can't control us women, they sabotage us. Right. How do we find balance with that? How do you find balance with the control or the sabotage? Well, what I would do is to it depending on how you react to it. But I react to it as a mother. So for those who are trying to control me, I look at it like my daughter when she's trying to control me, and I have to look at it through the eyes of the mother in which I still love them but see them as it's a flaw to think that they can control me. It's still going to be me that's making that choice. Um and that's how I would practice that in being balanced because your perceived enemies are your shadows, and they are mainly showing you something probably about yourself. So, with that understanding, I'm navigating my emotional state to have some reason before I feel so deeply about it because I can feel very deeply about things and start to fight for my right. Yeah, so that's what I do. But I feel like it's not about what I do as much as it's about having understanding. And so for everyone who says, okay, well, I'm a mother to my husband and I'm a queen, right? So and I'm his concubine and I'm his daughter, when you embody that role and remember that role, you are in a God mind because only from that point of view are you creating everything and choosing when to be those roles and choosing when to act it out. True. Mirror reflection. What is the lesson for me? I'm in control and I don't have to use words to prove that. Right. So for you, if it's words, then exactly. Um, so it's a conversation about being free, truly being free. And to be free is to have no um opposition. I feel like opposition might actually be what holds you prisoner. Um cuz people will say certain things like don't feel this way, don't be sad, don't be upset. But that never works for me cuz I'll still feel that way. But if I start to understand deeply what the intentions are behind the force that is coming at me, then I know that it is me coming at me. It's like this is something I created, if not a mirror. So I know that if I the way that I speak, I could be literal or I could be metaphorical. And basically I'm speaking on both matters. Certain people are your exact mirror. Certain people are just mirroring how your attitude or your reaction has been before, showing it back to you. Certain people are just operating in different ways and showing that they're your mirror. So, depending on how it is for you, the biggest thing is to remember that it is that. And then you're coming at it almost instantly from a state of a peaceful mind in order to understand it. And I have found that because I'm not great with confrontation, that just being in a peaceful mind, even if it's ferocious coming at me, that I'm going to choose one or the other. I'm going to consciously choose to be devilish, or I'm going to consciously choose to be more mature about it. So my choices are still going to be mine to choose, but maybe it's more the idea that it's mine to choose. So, the biggest thing about goddess and queen is the integration of mind and body, the integration of the spiritual with the materialistic. So, this is why it works well etymologically and as a picture to see a demon and a diamond be the same thing, because demon is just a spiritual reference and diamond is a materialistic reference, but they're both the same idea. Um, yeah, to be free is to have no opposition. That would be what I would have discovered for myself. So to be a demon versus a diamond is the same idea. Materialistic versus spirit. Okay? And to be both, to be a woman who could be a whore or who could be a concubine or who could be a mother is to be both. And I feel like this is a deeper conversation that I would like to have about my ideas, political, socio-political ideas on aging, because I think that in this realm, in this matrix, aging has been something that's been fearful. But I feel like even scientifically, a woman doesn't really reach her sexual peak until much later in life. So I think that they say that there's like a saying that says like time is wasted on the youth, or basically the idea that youth have it all. And I actually think that it's backwards. I think that you're supposed to flip it. I think that the more that a woman ages, the sexier that she is supposed to become, because the more that she has the wisdom and experience to like practice operating in her queen and goddesshood, which is basically an integration of the two, in my opinion. So, this whole concept, this whole world that I've created for you is to help paint a picture of the fact that first it's something that I created and it's not something that you have to digest, but it is connected to ancient references and it does solve some difficulties that I have gone through. So, the point that I was trying to make is that this is about being sexier and the more that you age. And the more that you embody and integrate your queendom with your goddesshood, the easier it is to drink of your own fountain of youth. It's like you do age younger, but it's more of the idea that it's the sexual nature and prowess and mastery of a woman actually is only to be better and get better as she gets older. So just imagine if you unlocked a whole new world where aging was something that you looked forward to, was something that you honored, something that looked completely different. Like imagine being really sexy and much older in your 70s, 80s. Imagine like what could be if we saw that. And the reason why I like this idea is because from a younger age, sexuality is pushed, and that would actually give more time for the youth to be the youth and for the women to handle the business. You know what I'm saying? The queens to handle the business and take it from the youth, because the youth aren't very strong, in my opinion, mentally, socially, emotionally, to handle trying to do queen things. Right. Demon and diamond. And pressure creates diamonds. Exactly. Aging ancestors' wisdom. Thank you. So, that's the talk that I wanted to say. And I think that this is something that is maybe could be talked about some more. Some of the ideas referenced in here. But I know that um it was something that everyone who saw the last video wanted me to talk again about. So here is part two. And again, this is why I think astrology, which is what I also do on this channel, is important, because it helps you to learn more about your partner, which is the mastery of succubus demonic energy, is to learn about your partner, right? I think a lot of people are scared of this stuff because it really challenges what you know to be as good and bad. And I know that even when I'm saying these words, they're almost like curse words to some people. But the idea here is that we want to break that disconnection and be more connected to the darker nature. Because if we are not connected to the darker nature, then it shows itself back at us from probably a place that we really don't want to see it. So, actually, the more that you work on your darker nature, the less that you should, this is my theory, the less that you should deal with it in your regular world. You know, like the more as you deal with it, or if it comes at you in your world, you'll be more empowered and stronger to deal with it. Whitney says youth lack maturity, child's play. Exactly. There's an innocence and a purity that is in this idea of pick me chicks. And I think it has to do with the fact that the reason that we even have that term and have the ideology about somebody is that sexuality is pushed too much on the youth. And some people could probably say, well, how are you going to change like people from fetishizing youth versus um queendom? I really don't think it's that hard when you have a bunch of queens and goddesses being witches. I think that the minute that more queens and goddesses start to take their brooms and start sweeping up and cleaning up shit, that it, basically takes care of itself. They'll know what to do, basically. And they can shift. Feminine energy can shift, you know, anything it wants. You can create whatever you want, including a world where pedophilia and, you know, sexual abuse doesn't exist. That's the world I want to create. So why not come up with this concept in order to create it? And it actually solves a lot of my own personal problems, and probably that of many women who have just gone through life wondering if they're always just going to have their heart broken, always going to feel like a victim to love, or try to put on a front that they don't want love, they just want money. And it's all like, it's all so much more simple anyway. Like the solution is so much more simple when you're able to be everything, and be more mature about it. Thank you. When women rule the world. Yes. Thank you so much. It's all about controlling self, our own inner energy, in order to better control outer entities and situations. Right. Because, like, your children don't want you to control you, like, so that's your children and your spouse or your boyfriend or your crush. They don't want you to control them. Right. So a queen knows those things and she won't outwardly try to do it. And somebody who does try to outwardly try to do it, they're not bad. They're just not. They're a baby. They're not bad. They're a baby. I like that. Right. So they just don't have that strategy, seasoned awareness, and knowing that if I want to get what I want, then I need to operate as if I am knowing what the right thing is to do. Like, operate in the sense of knowing these people. If I know them, then I know what they need and I'll give them what they need so that I can get what I need. So it's very Libra Venus talk. It's a Libra and Venus talk on, relationships, manipulation, but it is demonic energy. So these words aren't so demonized. They are just what it is. Yeah, when Bree says when the solution is simple, it goes over people's heads. I agree. But I think that it's because we are convoluted with ideas that have already been told to us that make us feel that way, and emotions that haven't been resolved in a way in which we know how to move past them. So a lot of the times it's the same story just being told. And that's basically all of mythology stories, every movie that you've ever watched, and every astrology chart. It's the sun rising and the sun setting, the sun rising again. Basically, every story that has ever been told has is what's repeating in your mind, and everything that you think I think really you say, well, I just really don't know. um, because I don't know, somebody told me that, or I figured that out for myself. And I think actually from the place of I don't know, you walk into this ecstasy of being in this whole conversation about queens versus goddess, and the excitement to choose, and the okay to be as nasty as you want, and still, like, be everything else as well. Because I think that in a lot of religion, they control the female sexuality because it's probably very scary if women are walking around knowing their powers. That's a scary thing. And not just women, just people, everyone who's connected to divine womb, the divine feminine nature. Even the word feminine and women is not really what I'm trying to find. I got to search for the word I'm trying to find, but to me the best one is the mother, like really connected to the idea of the mother, because the mother creates everything. And being a creator, the idea of being a creator is not just about writing a song, even though I love writing songs and you love writing songs too, and you know creating painted architectures or whatever your creative thing is, right? Because we all have it. It's scary for the world to be imagined that these are things, your creativity, your emotional fulfillment, your ability to, you know, lure people in like on your own. These things are scary, but it's a part of the conversation of magic. And even magic has been banned, before, because freedom is a dangerous thing to a system that is trying to control you. But a lot of the fight, I feel, when it comes to the system trying to control you, is already knowing that it does. And so, if you already know that it does, then you don't have to look outside of yourself to fight what's happening outside, like on the news or even with your partnership. Like, what if I started saying every time my husband triggers me and I start to feel insecure and want to grab his phone or throw something, right? What if I told myself, oh, this is the system that is trying to control me? They're putting it in my head thoughts about, you know, black men ain't shit, all men are dogs. Well, even though they are, but, the Matrix, all men are dogs, meaning, and I can't trust anyone ever again. So if I start to tell myself, this is not me, this is something else, then it becomes blank. And now, well, what is the true me? Now I get to create that. Now, I've only had that in a few certain moments, but it was those moments that led me to think that, everything that I thought I knew, I just don't know, you know. So relationships are tough. Astrology can help you get there. So can Christianity, so can all of your religions, as long as you deprogram yourself from it. I even deprogram myself from astrology, you know, like, I think that there's something beyond your astrology. It's knowing it and then having the choice to that you have this tendency, and now you can do something else. Which is why when I give readings, I actually struggle with readings because it's really just me saying, okay, this is your planets, but what are you going to do about it? And I end up sometimes saying, well, this is what you can do. And I guess people like suggestions, but the biggest thing about it is that even there's a life beyond astrology, you know? But the astrology frees you because it shows you what you're programmed to do, what you've been conditioned to think. I'm going to do a series on Chiron, in which, Chiron and parenthood, a lot of astrology people are scared of Chiron with their children, and how Chiron is more, or choose something else for it. Basically, again, the idea is that once you know your astrology, you can go beyond that too. Because everything that you understand, there is another realm beyond it. And that's where the I don't know everything is really actually, to me, the most wisest path, because you'll just keep knowing and knowing and knowing and opening yourself up to that. So, hello, Wanda. Welcome. So, that is the talk. A little queen talk, goddess talk. And if you guys would like to talk more about specific things in relationships, we can talk through it, through this goddess queen mentality. So yeah, drop me some comments and let me know in the down below what, you know, relationship issues maybe we can talk about when it comes to approaching it from the mentality of queens and goddesses. Okay? Thank y'all so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You could be doing so many other things, but you came here on this little old channel and gave me some of your time. So, bless you. I hope that you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next live. Peace and love.